has given me during the past 20 plus years that I've been here. Unlike our president, I am not here to apologize for America. I don't find any horrors in being an American citizen. Quite the contrary. I am so proud to have fought to become an American citizen. Thanks. Before I go on, I want to share with you a little bit about my background. I was born and raised in Brazil and came to this country back in 1986 at the age of 14 years old to live with my uncle, a visiting professor at West Point, and his family. My life in America couldn't have started in a better and more American place than the home of the long gray line, the home of heroes and true believers in honor, duty, country. While there, I met my husband. He's in the crowd today, and he was a young cadet, son of two Cuban parents, refugees of the horror of the communist regime imposed on their homeland by the Castro brothers, Che Guevara, and many other bloody assassins. 2 years later, I joined my parents and brother in California. We came here legally to be a part of the American dream. Life, liberty, opportunity, and the pursuit of happiness. Unlike others, I did not come here to take advantage of the system or change the system. I came here to be a part of this great system that this country has to offer. Times were tough for us in the beginning as my father became unemployed shortly after we arrived in America. But through a lot of hard work and no government entitlement, we were able to succeed. And today, my father is on the verge of retirement. My family and I, we have lived the American dream. And we want to keep this dream alive and pass it on to the future generations, our children and grandchildren. But let's go on and talk about what is at stake here today. Let's talk about what we must know and do in order to avoid the traps laid out by our government and our enemies. The economy has been and will continue to be one of the most prominent issues in our minds in these post-election months. If you think the economy is bad now, you ain't seen nothing yet. Just wait until President Obama is done with cap and trade, nationalized health care, immigration, and the list is so long it goes on and on. Even billionaire liberal investor George Soros has warned us that fears of inflation, and I quote him, fears of inflation would drive up borrowing costs and choke off growth once financial markets recover. First Buffett, now Soros, hammering the economy. If we didn't suffer from media malpractice in our country today, I would think that would actually have an impact. Folks, we're looking into 1929 times 10. It's time for us to start getting worried and start talking about what's at hand here. As I stop to look around and take in all that is happening to us, I realize that this crisis is the same one that was gradually implemented in my home country through a strong and well-planned Marxist program that involved the most important sectors of our society: education, media communication, entertainment, and religion. These days, I find myself astonished as I realize the direct correlation between what is happening in the United States and what has happened in Brazil and the rest of Latin America. And I call it the implementation of 21st century Marxism, because it's no longer cool to use the word communism. And I've been called scary when I use that word. So I decided to just camouflage it and call it 21st century Marxism. The model for implementation of 21st century Marxism is quite simple. So I have a few bullet points for you. Bear with me. Number one, a liberal or progressive candidate is introduced to the masses as the Messiah that is going to fix all problems imposed on them by the evil capitalists. Number two, this candidate has a political platform with plenty of social changes that will fix the inequality between those who work hard and file their taxes and those who have nothing because of the rich. Look, and does redistribution of wealth ring a bell to anybody? That's exactly what's going on. Number three, the same candidate has the undivided attention from the media and the entertainment industry to preach his social programs to the masses. That's when the infomercials that ABC has given President Obama come into play. Number four, the election process itself is corrupted as much as possible until the first Marxist is elected. Number five, and that's what we are today, Upon taking office, social programs are implemented to benefit those who helped him get him elected. The tax-paying class paid the bills and struggles to keep its standards of living. Okay, so all we have to do is look at what's happening with ACORN and AmeriCorps. AmeriCorps, I like to call it our new civilian army. And as far as ACORN goes, the government, the White House, is completely subsidizing them with our own taxpayer dollars. It's time for us to be angry and get off our couches and scream at these people. Number 6. Politicians then passed necessary constitutional changes needed to increase the number of terms as well as minimize the possibility of the buildup of a strong opposition. Once the situation is bad enough and even the believers are ready to democratically reverse the situation by defeating the Messiah and or his designated successors, they unilaterally call for the end of democracy to announce the start of a new era of government for the people. If this model doesn't resemble to you the path that we're on in our country today, I don't know what does. So even though not many Americans know about this, since Latin America is in our own backyard, but it barely makes it into the news, the political system that we have in place today is exactly the same one implemented by the Marxists in the so-called banana republics, by democratically electing presidents such as Chavez in Venezuela, Lula in Brazil, Morales in Bolivia, Correa in Ecuador, Kirchner in Argentina, and Ortega in Nicaragua. And now in Honduras, we are seeing yet another